Okay, I'd like to call this to order our February 2nd for Green Tree Council meeting. Let the record reflect that council was in executive session previous to this meeting to discuss legal and personnel matters. We're also meeting an executive session after this meeting to discuss personnel matters. We also had two executive sessions earlier in the month, one to discuss a deed restriction issue and another to discuss another personnel issue. This month is February's Black History Month. It's also recognizing President's Day. So as we call for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like you to think about all the community members, African Americans that contribute to our society. And as President's Day, think about the public servants that serve our residents and appreciate that moment of silence. So they're all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have a roll call? Roll call.
Mr. Allen?
Amber, I'm sorry, it's Amber. I'm here.
You sure? Miss Barron? Miss Caskey?
Here.
Miss Godovic?
Here.
Mr. Panza?
Here.
Miss Schwartz?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mayor Schenk?
Present. And can I have a motion to approve the minutes for our January 5th, 2026 reorganization of council?
I know.
I'll second. Any comments? Corrections? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstains. Good, that motion passes. Can I have a motion to approve our January 5th regular meeting?
So who?
I'll second. Any comments? Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passed. Before we get into the public comment, I would like to make a statement. So in a few minutes, council will be voting on a revised meeting agenda structured aimed at improving transparency and public engagement. This change reflects more than a year of resident feedback. The council is taking a step tonight to respond to that input. The updated format adds public comment both before and after. That's the big change. Public comment after council business and moves the mayor's report earlier in the meeting, so discussion and decision making are better aligned. Public comment prior to committee reports will be limited to agenda items only. So in the past, when we had public comment, those comments could be anything related to the borough. We're asking with this new change that public comment in the first part of the meeting is only related to things in the agenda. And then at the end of the meeting, we'll have another public comment, and that could be anything that's borough related. Okay, so as we continue to improve transparency and communication and our meeting structure, we're welcome to feedback as we hope that we receive, and we'll incorporate that into the recruitment ideas. Okay.
Could I please with some other meeting this community pride presentation up about public comment for the first time?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, motion passes. So we are now going to have a community pride presentation that's going to be led by Christopher Allen.
Hi everyone, welcome. Tonight I have the honor of honoring Mrs. Adamski, or as she would tell me, as I met with her again in my adult life, Jan. She was very upset that I called her Mrs. Adamski as an adult. I've known her literally my entire life since I have been a resident of Green Tree, and I hope that I'm able to honor her in the way that she deserves. The Borough of Green Tree proudly honors Janice Adamski, a lifelong resident whose 68 years were devoted to loving, serving, and strengthening the community she called home. Janice gave her whole heart to her, always ready to help a neighbor in need. Service was not something she did, it was who she was. She volunteered with countless local organizations, served as one of the borough's original block parents, led Girl Scout troops, coached Odyssey of the Mind teams, and was deeply involved in her children's schools and booster organizations. For more than 24 years, Janice served in the borough's administrative offices, working with community groups, department heads, and elected officials. She secured numerous grants, helped modernize borough operations, supported recreation programs, and played a key role in launching beloved traditions such as the Farmers Market, Easter Spring Magic, Oktoberfest, and Force Light. Her compassion reached beyond borough borders through charitable fundraisers, support for military families, and advocacy for children, families, and seniors. Janice also served on regional boards, civic organizations, and environmental efforts, always giving generously of her time and talents. She also recently was part of the campaign to be on this very council, and I can't tell you how many incredible conversations I had with her. Janice Adamski's legacy is one of selflessness, dedication, and deep love for Green Tree. The borough honors her with lasting gratitude and will forever remember her as a true steward of the community and a friend to all of us. Now I have to read the official document. That was my personal one, but this is the actual one that I must read. Whereas Janice Adamski was a lifelong resident of the borough of Green Tree, whose life was defined by service, generosity, and deep love for her community. And whereas Janice devoted more than 24 years to serving the borough through her work in the administrative offices, supporting elected officials, securing grants, long-term operations, and strengthening community programs. And whereas Janice was a tireless volunteer, advocate, and leader whose commitment to Green Tree extended to youth programs, civic organizations, and the creation of many of the borough's most cherished traditions. And whereas, in recognition of her integrity, experience, and dedication, Janice was a strong and respected candidate for Borough Council shortly before her passing. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Borough of Green Tree hereby honors and remembers Janice Adamski for her extraordinary service and lasting impact on the community, and be it further proclaimed that her legacy of leadership, kindness, and commitment to Green Tree will be remembered with gratitude and respect for generations to come. This is resolved and adopted this second day of February, 2026. Thanks. And also Janice's family is here tonight. This is it.
I was going to say a few words. I first met Jan probably before 2006. I was first elected in 2006. So I got to know her. I was on council as a mayor. She was always helpful. Anytime I needed anything, she would guide me. So she was good. So, but the important thing is too, her relationship with her family. It's second to none. I was cutting my grass a couple of months ago, and there was a lot of noise over the hill. And damn, I could even hear the noise over my lawnmower. But anyhow, it was the 50th, their wedding anniversary. They've been married 50 years. So prior to Jan's passing, her family had an excellent party down there. I could see the tent, I could hear the noise. So Jim and Jan made it for 50 years. They were childhood sweethearts. Her 4 daughters are here. Some of her grandchildren are here. I don't know how many grandchildren. How many grandchildren does she have? 8. 8 grandchildren. So her legacy is going to live on with her daughters. Some of them live here in Green Tree. So, I always appreciated Jan, and she would have made an excellent council person. So, thank you. We all loved her.
Thank you.
If any of you would like to say anything now, would be the time.
Just on behalf of my family, thank you for honoring our mom. She made helping others her life's work, and I know she's rooting for all of you to do great things. And this was her life, so thank you. This means a lot to us, so thank you.
I just wanted to note that, when I was first elected council, probably before many of you were even born here in those council chambers, I just had an idea about a community event. Only I had no idea how to get it started or what to do with it. And without Jan, I mean, she's put it all together. She basically created it, she ran it. And I am hoping, I'll personally ensure that we get a tree up at Oktoberfest for her memory. So I will be working on that.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so up next is public comments. Public comment, anybody wishing to address council? Oh, and by the way, if the family, if anybody at this point doesn't want to stay for our meeting, they're more than welcome.
You all heard of me.
Thank you. Thank you.
So again, anybody wishing to address council or anything on the agenda?
Hi, Bob Dadovic, Denver Crestmont. Just wanted to ask a quick question, follow up, last two council meetings, there was a discussion about the installation of crosswalk at Green Tree Road in Banbury. And there was a difficulty in completing the work. I just wanted to know if there was any update on the status of rectifying them.
So thanks, Bob. It's not on the agenda, so there's an example of what would, a comment that would come after the.
I thought that was gonna be the next move.
Yeah, those are installed. There's an issue with the placement of one of the foundations for the signs that needs to be moved. But I can get more information on that. Anyone else for agenda basis?
Christine Short, 251 Park Edge. As a resident, I'm a little bit upset about the resignation of Miss Councilman. I don't even know where to begin. It upsets me that she was on the ballot. It upsets me that she spent 4 years up here. I don't think she was here for the residents. I know, David, you were on an island all by yourself. If any one of you folks do not want to be on council, I would have more respect for you jumping down now. I know it's not easy, it's hard, but you need to be on this council for the borough residents, not for your agenda. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, great. Okay.
Okay, just give me a second here, to make sure I sort out my things. which are appropriate to talk about now. Okay, I'm happy to see on the new borough meeting agenda that there are 2 opportunities for public resident comment and meetings. Thank you for the information on the types of business that should be addressed during each comment period. Okay. Regarding filling the council vacancy noted on tonight's agenda, I would request the council once again release the candidates' names and the interview time schedule in advance of the council interviews. This way, residents can again research the candidates, and estimate the time that they would spend at the meeting. I believe this transparency measure has worked well in the past. And just give me one more moment here. Okay, the rest of them would be addressed later. Thank you. And I'm assuming that you can speak at both segments.
Yes, you may.
Okay, I just wanted clarification on that as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else? All right, great. So next we have a resolution setting Borough Council meeting order of business.
I'll make a motion for resolution 1381, setting borough council meeting order.
So again, this is just pre-order, oh, I'm sorry.
Pursuant to section 28-2A and section 28-2E-1.
We have a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Any comments? So again, this is resetting the order, moving the mayor's report further up into the agenda and adding the second public comment at the.
I like it. I think it's nice to reward people that sit through an entire meeting. They can speak about. It's great.
Any other comments? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain.
Oh, yeah. Resolution.
I wasn't correcting you, but,
No, you can correct me.
all right.
I
Mr. Allen,
suggested this.
Yes.
Ms. Kowski,
Aye.
Ms. Godovic.
Yes.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes. That motion passes. Okay, thank you. So up next is the mayor's report.
Thank you. I have 11 things. The first thing we want to mention, I've received congratulatory letters. Other people would have too on the election, but from Dan Deasy, he's in the State House of Representatives. From Bethany Hallam, she's the Allegheny Council at large, and from Sarah Emirata. So they all want to work with us, and that's good. I mean, Sarah and the Marauder says governing is a team sport. They ask us if we want any help from them to reach out. I've already reached out to Bethany Hallam. She's the county at large representative, and she sent me the immigration policy from Allegheny County. They have a proposal, and it's like 7 pages, and I asked her within 2 hours, I got their proposal from Allegheny County. So I've worked with these people in the past, and I intend to continue to do so. The second thing that I'm going to mention, I went to a talk, I like history, Doris Kearns Goodwin. She's an historian. She's a presidential historian. And she wrote, for example, Team of Rivals. It's about President Lincoln and how he appointed everybody that was against him. He appointed the 3 people on his cabinet, Attorney General, Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of State. So I'm hoping with this new council, I'm hoping we're rivals sometimes, but I hope we're also a team of rivals. So I'm looking forward to that. Third thing on my list here is with Public Safety Committee, Chair Dinah, myself, and Chief Rannigan, we met with the so-called A-team. What the A-team is, they're social workers, and there's 32 of them. and they provide resources to different municipalities. And we're looking into that, to bring them possibly to Green Tree. The next step would be to meet with the Public Safety Committee with Emily and Ron and bring them up to speed. And then, see if we can use them. It will be up to the police whether to call them in. They're not gonna be called in for medical emergencies. They're not gonna be called in for dangerous situations. But if the police think they can help, for example, with an elderly patient or even a voluntary commitment, they can transport people. If there's a child involved, they can come. They come 2 at a time. So hopefully we can get this service. We only have 5,000 people. We're not big enough for an individual social worker. But if we can share one, they're open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So if you call in that period, it's first come, first served. If they're available, and if the police, it's their discretion, if they think it's safe, if they think it's gonna be helpful, 2 social workers will come. It's about an 18-minute response time. So we're looking into that. Next, what I have on January 21, I'm not gonna steal your thunder, Emily, but I did attend the interviews of the public planning commission and for the zoning hearing board. So that was very professional, and there's going to be a motion tonight, and I thank Ms. Schwartz for letting me participate in those interviews. And thank the people that want to serve on the planning commission. They do sometimes as much work or more than council and the zoning hearing board. They don't meet as much, but they're important. So I thank them who all wanted to serve. Next, number 5, acting Chief Rannigan. I've been in touch with him on the NFL draft that's in Pittsburgh, couple weeks. So we're going to staff the police accordingly. So hopefully the Pittsburgh gets a good draft here. I see a couple people in the audience excited here. So hopefully we get some good players. The next would be Unity Presbyterian Church. Our police officers did a fundraiser. They did the Sasquatch contest. We got a letter from Unity Church thanking them for their service and thanking them for their food collection. They collected hundreds of pounds of non-perishable food shelf and collected $2,300. That's when they didn't shave for the month of December. So police are getting more active in community and events like this. So I'd like to thank them and the Unity Church. I'll put this of record. I have a copy of the letter that's dated January 12th, 2026. In regard to the volunteer fire department, this Saturday, February 7th, is their banquet. They've invited council members, and I'll be there to swear in their officers. So it's always a good event. We also thank the volunteer firemen for everything that they do for us. Next, I have Point Park. We're working with Point Park, and hopefully we can schedule a meeting fairly soon with all the stakeholders being the Keystone Oaks High School, the Athletic Association in Point Park. They want to turf the field, so Ms. Schwartz's committee's working on that. And we were
Well, actually, no, it's now Ron's.
I'm sorry, you're on the committee, I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Yeah,
No, I'm out.
okay.
Ron's job.
It's myself, Miss Barron, and Mr. Allen.
Okay, I apologize.
It's okay.
Okay, so that's,
Don't, I'm out.
so we will go with the Point Park, so hopefully we can do that. They want to spend over $1 million to turf that field, but we have to work out usage, share the usage, and make sure, replacing it in the future, who's gonna pay for that, so we are working on that. In regard to speed humps, we're gonna push that along. We thinking about speed humps. I drove down McKenna today. There's 2 speed humps on McKenna. So if anyone wants to get a feel for what speed humps are, see how fast you can go over speed humps, you can go down to McKenna. But they're really not that obstructive. They do slow you down, but I think that they may be good on a couple of different streets in the borough, not every place. And then lastly, last time we gave a proclamation to Cucina Vitale, the restaurant. I said I was gonna go there and I in fact did go there. My wife and I did go to that restaurant. I hadn't been there yet. And Frank did come out and I'll have to disclose, I did get a free dessert. He's not in his chocolate cake, but we did share one, so I didn't push it. So we did have a free chocolate cake, so Benny has a very nice restaurant, so I like to try to frequent restaurants, go to Alexion's, the Rockery, so whenever we get a chance. So thank you, under my report.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, your report's always so informative. And we used to wait till the end of the meeting and then enjoy your report, but now giving it first, it's like eating dessert and now we're gonna eat dinner. So that's the only bad part.
I'm allowed to speak again also. Just- Thank you.
Okay, up next is accepting the resignation of Shannon Barron, Mr. Panza.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the resignation of Shannon Barron effective January 27, 2026.
We have a motion, they have a second.
I'll second.
Any comments?
Mr. Panda was supposed to read the letter.
I'll note that her letter will be submitted for the record.
I do not have. Letter.
I don't, I think it's accusatory in nature. I don't think we should read it. It will be submitted into the record.
So it'll be publicly
Yeah,
published
it will be publicly published,
in the minutes
in the
for the
minutes.
next meeting.
Yeah, she's also more than welcome to, read
Okay, I
it
just
herself.
want to follow that was the next. So I seconded it.
Yeah, we have a second. Any other comments? Good. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? That motion passes. Before we get into the committee reports, as the mayor alluded to, there are maybe some new assignments. There are new assignments for the committees and reorganization of the committees. So I'd like to announce what those assignments are for the upcoming year and describe the process and why we have committees. We're actually, we're seen as the best practice with our committees. Is that true, Mr. Solicitor? One of your other clients is using Green Tree as the best.
That
practice.
is true. I do have another client that is switching more to a committee focused approach. And they look to Green Tree for theirs.
Right. So as members of council, we serve first and foremost as public servants. Our responsibility is to listen, be accessible, and to represent the interests of the community thoughtfully and respectfully. Committees are one of the ways council organizes its work so we can stay informed, deliver effectively, and remain responsive to residents. Under the borough charter, that's our guiding document, it is the responsibility of the council president to establish and assign council committees. In carrying out that responsibility, I asked council members for input and took time to consider where experience, continuity, and shared responsibility would best support the work ahead. Council committees are structured with a chair and two other members. So we have a chair and then two other members. So each council member is a chair of a committee and then participates in two other committees. So a total of 6 committees. These committees operate at the policy level and are intended to support council's role in setting direction and providing oversight. They do not manage day-to-day operations or replace the authority of the mayor, the borough manager, staff, or appointed boards. Their role is to help ensure council discussions are informed and grounded in the right context. With committees reporting back so decisions continue to be made openly and in public session. Committees also play an important role in transparency and public access. Moving forward, each committee is expected to meet at least once per month with committee meetings advertised in advance and whenever possible, open to public and live streamed. We want to make them as accessible as possible. There are certain committee discussions that cannot be held in public because of the sensitivity, legal matters, personnel matters, of the sort. Those will not be public. Everything else will be public and transparent. To support that access, one of my priorities is to finally improve our audio and visual capabilities and technologies so residents can easily follow council and committee meetings, whether attending in person or watching remotely. I've also asked each committee chair to convene their committee early on and some already have, to discuss priorities for the year, and to share those priorities back with full council in public, so we stay aligned and intentional in our work. We'll also be transitioning to a Microsoft Teams environment to support collaboration across committees, keep priorities, progress, and status visible and up to date. As part of that approach, we'll be using a rolling action items list. So we're going to do that to track resident raised issues, policy follow-ups, and action items under council's responsibility. So concerns are acknowledged and followed through in an organized and transparent way. Nothing's going to fall through the cracks. This committee structure is intended to support the important work for our staff and our appointed boards, not to replace it, and to strengthen coordination across the organization. With that context, the following committee assignments are listed in alphabetical order for effective immediately. The first one is the Community and Employee Engagement Committee. This committee will be chaired by Ms. Godovic, joined by Ms. Caskey and Mr. Allen. Community engagement is a top priority of this council, and this committee provides a focused forum for listening, communication, and transparency. The inclusion of employee engagement at the policy level reflects council's priority to ensure borough employee experience is respectful, supportive, and aligned with council's values, while remaining clearly separate from personnel actions, management responsibilities for day-to-day operations. Ms. Godovic was selected to chair this committee because of her strong ability to connect with residents and communicate clearly with the community. This committee will also support coordination with the school districts, and we're going to relaunch our junior council person program. The next committee is the Community Assets and Recreation Committee. It will be chaired by Mr. Panza, with Mr. Allen serving alongside him, and also the to be appointed council member to fill the most recent vacancy. This committee focuses on parks, recreation programs, facilities, and borough-owned buildings with intention to long-term condition, access, and community use. Mr. Panza was selected as chair due to his decades of experience leading recreation efforts in the borough and the continuity he brings to this work. Up next, the Economic Development and Planning Committee will be chaired by Ms. Schwartz, along with Ms. Cappy, serving on the committee, and the soon-to-be appointed member of council. Planning and zoning have long been established important functions for council. The addition of economic development reflects a priority to be more intentional about business attraction, retention, and long-term economic vitality. Ms. Schwartz was selected to chair this committee based on her years of experience leading planning and zoning related work and the progress made under her leadership. This committee will also designate a council of governments representative. The next committee is the Finance and Administration Committee. That will be chaired by Mr. Allen, with Mr. Panza and Ms. Godovic serving on the committee. This committee focuses on fiscal policy, long-term financial planning, budget priorities, financial oversight to ensure council decisions are sustainable and aligned with borough's goals. Mr. Allen was selected to chair this committee because of his extensive experience leading organizations and managing complex budgets. The committee will also designate a police pension liaison to receive updates and report back to council. Up next is the Public Safety Committee. This will be chaired by Ms. Caskey, with Mr. Panza and Ms. Schwartz serving on the committee. It'll focus on long-term public safety policy updates and risk reduction strategies that impact residents' quality of life, including traffic safety, traffic calming approaches, neighborhood and pedestrian safety, and deer management policies. Ms. Caskey was selected to chair this committee because of her background as a social worker and her ability to approach complex safety issues through a strategic, community-centered lens. And finally, the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee will include Ms. Schwartz and Ms. Godovic, but will be chaired by the newly appointed member of council. This committee focuses on long-term infrastructure policy and investment priorities, including roads, sidewalks, stormwater systems, public rights of way, ensuring infrastructure planning aligns with borough's financial capacity and long-term goals. So I appreciate everybody's input as we form these committees. Look forward to a transparent process with open dialogue with the community and our residents. And look forward to continued engagement. I thank you for all your efforts in leading and participating on those committees. So with that, we will move into our committee reports with community and employee engagement up first. Ms. Cadeau.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. I have a couple things to report so far. I haven't been able to schedule with Ms. Cassidy and Mr. Allen yet, just due to our schedules for work, but plan to get together with them in the next couple of weeks to talk over our plans for the year, including to, but not limited to improving borough communication and transparency practices and review of how information is shared with residents and employees. I manage a online presence for Green Tree, all about Green Tree page. If you happen to be on it, see if we could continue with that, or perhaps make another borough type of page. And then review community engagement, discussing implementing the resident advisory committee and residential and employee feedback mechanisms. So I'd like to try to get the residential advisory committee set up sometime soon so that people have not just the opportunity to come to the meeting and talk, be able to meet at least once a month to discuss concerns, issues that they might have. They could bring them to us even sooner than at a meeting. And secondly, I will also be serving as a liaison to the Keystone Oaks School Board. And like Mr. Ray said, they're trying to implement the junior council person program, which I think is a fantastic way for a young crowd to get active and excited in civic engagement. I was going to attend the last meeting. I think Chris, are you here? It was last week, right? So it's very preliminary. So Chris advised me to come to the next school board meeting, and I will get more information on what they want to do. And Chris Crassley is my contact person, school board.
So just for clarification, the junior council program is the Green Tree program that will partner with the school or any student who wishes to participate. It's actually part of our charter. We had it, I don't know, probably 12 years ago, and it fizzled out. So yeah, good opportunity to partner with the school and give students an opportunity to be exposed to public service.
And I believe, if I read correctly, they are able to sit and attend meetings.
Yeah, they'll sit right there. They don't sit up here.
We'll meet, because I ran that for several years, and I'll give you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's all I have for my report.
Thanks, Mr. Lewick. Up next, community assets and recreation, Mr. Pienza.
Thank you. Well, now with the new assignments carefully thought out by President Ray, I now have two parts to my committee report. So I'll start with my recreation part, which I've been doing for quite a few years. I will say we did have an Oktoberfest meeting in January. It was attended by some new faces, but the new faces are still some old faces that are very professional and really know how to run an Oktoberfest. So I'm very excited that it looks like we'll be having the Oktoberfest this year, and it should be run very efficiently. So I'm very excited about that. And the next meeting will be in March. It's always the third Monday of the month, every other month, till we get close to Oktoberfest. I briefly met with the Recreation Committee, very briefly, and they stated they have some great ideas for this upcoming year, especially to celebrate the 250th anniversary. So now it's just a matter of working with them to give them the assets that they need to accomplish what they would like to do for the whole program and also the 250th celebration. Preliminary talking about a July 2nd celebration, but we'll give you further details as things develop. Now, with the second part of my new committee, community assets, I we'll start working with Point Park to see what we can do with the baseball fields. I mean, we're very proactive on this. Our committee so far thinks it's a great idea, and we will make it much easier now and make sure we proceed with getting the fields in good shape. And as far as the swimming pool goes, we will be re-looking at the entire situation where different options this time. One, maybe we just refurbish the new swimming pool. Two, we get a swimming pool design that the community wants. We think that would be a good idea. Or three, if we refurbish the swimming pool, then maybe there's some extra money to create a rec center. Swimming pool we have for 90 days, rec center we would have 365 days. But we're gonna have fresh eyes on everything, and things will be totally different in the future.
Mr. Panza, I would hope that we also include the planning commission as part of the planning of that.
Absolutely, which we should have included them the first time, so we will take a whole new look, and I make one promise. If we do go with the new pool design and we need it 5 foot at one end, we're gonna get it to that 5 foot no matter what. So that's the end of my report.
Before we proceed, Mr. Panza, I think you're tasked with filling the vacancy or overseeing the vacancy.
Okay,
Do we want to pick interview dates?
well, sure, absolutely.
Just before we go any further.
Mr. Solicitor, do you want to briefly describe the process again?
Sure.
High
So.
level.
Yeah, we haven't done this for so long.
Right, I know, this is the first time for most of you. No, so we will have to post an advertisement in 10 days, notifying the community of the vacancy and inviting them to submit a resume and application. That advertisement will have an interview date, so we just need to select that tonight. I'll coordinate with the borough office to make sure that gets timely posted. Anyone who's interested, you can send your application directly to me. My email address will be in the advertisement. And then we'll have the opportunity to actually come. I think we typically do 20-minute intervals. And then 60 days from the date of the advertisement, council will have to make an appointment.
Jake, do we need to, well, potentially two, just in case?
I think we should, because last time we ran into a situation we didn't.
Sure.
So, I mean, the advertisement will be posted when?
Likely next Thursday. So I believe that would be the 12th.
Did that puts us out? How far?
They would have 10 days
So 10
to
days.
submit their application, so we would want to, you're looking at the last week of February, first week of March at that point. That times up nicely for an April appointment.
We could do it. It looks like we could get everything done by the end of February for a March appointment.
Yeah.
But if we've received all the applications on the 22nd.
Business days or calendar days?
It's typically calendar days.
Okay, so
By the time we would call and schedule interviews, that might take a couple.
well, we could say in the posting, in the advertisement, that interviews will be conducted the week of the 23rd.
Yeah.
So then they're prepared. I agree. I'm good with that.
I think that's a great date. For 25th and 27th.
25th and 26th. And as we did last time, I think we did them between. Did we start at 6 o'clock? I just don't want to go late. We ran into an issue that
We did 6.
6 and the last one was at 8. And then if we run over, we do it the next day.
Okay. Is that good for everyone?
Yeah.
No.
I
Yeah.
cannot.
Okay.
I cannot do Thursday for sure. I can
Do you do Wednesday?
So we do the 24th and 25th. Tuesday, I can't do the 24th, I can do the 25th.
Let's Let's do the 25th as primary. And then back up, so we'll try to get everybody scheduled the 25th, and then
I mean, I might be able to call in for the beginning, I just have to sound the clock.
on the 26th. Okay, so let's do that.
Oh, yeah, perfect, we could get most of them on the 25th,
Yeah,
and
right.
then just a few.
Okay, that's all going to depend on how the interview weeks can happen.
Yes, we could have.
Yeah.
20, and we
Yeah, too, yeah.
Okay, so council interviews on February 25th from 6 to 8.
Yep.
Wednesday, 25th, and then Thursday is backup. Starting at 6 o'clock.
So someone has to make sure we get the advertisement.
I am happy to make sure that this
Okay.
gets relayed.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Panza. Up next, Ms. Schwartz, Economic Development and Planning.
All right, we have not had a formal meeting of our committee yet, but we did meet on January 1st. To re-interview and interview candidates for the planning commission and zoning hearing board. Myself, Adina, Mr. Panza, and Jim Shanks were all present for those interviews, as well as a member of the planning commission and a member of the zoning hearing board. So you're gonna see those appointments coming up. I'm gonna be scheduling a meeting, right now our committee will be Adina and I, so hopefully Mr. Panza or Mr. Ray will step in for our empty space for now. But we will be meeting this month to make a plan for the year. There are some ideas that I have to work with our business community a little more closely. So that would be something we will be discussing and then bringing back to council. So that is all I have, and then, have a resolution coming up. And I'm gonna make it, but I'd also like once we do for some background, So, resolution 1382, Act 152 funds for self demolition. Motion, I'm going to we adopt resolution number 152, to adopt designating the executive director, Shar West Koch, to perform the required duties between the Borough of Green Tree and Allegheny County Economic Development, requesting Act 152 funds and comply with all of the provisions of the Act 152 application.
So we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second, Jake, you can provide a little bit of background on this, or you.
Is this the demolition of the vacant property?
It is.
I just want to confirm.
That is correct.
So this is, we had applied for funding to demolish a property on the SBO.
Okay.
And this is the, moving for them to go forward with that application to pay for it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, okay.
It's been in process for several months. I believe we acquired funding through ordinance to do it. Now this is just the step to get that.
Correct. The COG has actually been the one who's been overseeing the entire process, but council approval is required on all of the steps.
Any other additional comments?
I still need the motion.
I thought you did.
I did.
Okay, if we have no other comments, Amber, may we have a roll call?
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Caskey,
Yes.
Ms. Godovic.
Yeah.
Mr. Panza,
Yes.
Ms. Schwartz,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes. Motion patent.
Right. Now you're going to be the restriction removal. I move that we authorize the preparation and execution of an agreement between the Borough of Green Tree and the record owner of 978 Green Tree Road to voluntarily remove the deed restriction prohibiting the sale, storage, and warehousing of alcoholic beverages at the premises for commercial or retail purposes, as set forth more thoroughly in the deed recorded in the Allegheny County Recorder of Deeds Office at Deed Book Volume 9155, page 444.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Jay, can you provide more detail here?
Absolutely. So at the end of last year, I was contacted by an attorney representing the owner of 978 Green Tree Road. Her client is looking to sell the property. During the due diligence period, it was discovered that there is a deed restriction placed on the property by the borough in 1994, when the borough was the record owner of the property. I believe the property was previously used as the municipal building. That deed restriction prohibits the sale of alcohol at the property. The seller has requested that that deed restriction be removed. Because the borough was the entity that placed the restriction, the borough can voluntarily agree to waive it. The other alternative is they can petition the court and have the court remove it if it's no longer appropriate or being, there is no longer necessary. So this is your opportunity to discuss and decide whether or not to move forward with the removal.
I have a question. Have the residents nearby that property been notified?
Yes, that's
They have.
correct.
I think within
200 feet, I believe.
200 feet.
Think
So how
so.
many houses were told or notified?
Amber, do you have any idea?
I have no idea. That would have been Judy and Kim sending those.
Yeah, 200 feet.
And we know they have been sent. They were sent.
I was told they were sent.
I was informed as well.
Yeah.
And that's the Chipotle.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct. And it's my understanding that if the property sells, it wants to still be used as a Chipotle. They want to begin to offer alcoholic beverages at the premises.
So this isn't Chipotle asking for it, is the property owner who leases the
Correct.
property to Chipotle.
Correct. I believe it's universally wanted though by the seller, the potential buyer, and the tenant.
My thought, a couple thoughts here. First of all, deed restrictions in general are not favored by the court systems. They do uphold them, but in general, they're not favored. If it's written the right way, you're upholding deed restriction. Because a deed restriction, that puts the property owner in a little bit of disadvantage, because everybody else that's zoned there can do A, B, C, and D, but the one property cannot do, maybe D because of the deed restriction. My thought would be a compromise to do the deed restriction that they can take alcohol with them, no serving on the premises, but they could take it with them. Because that way, we won't have to worry about any alcohol offenses, so to speak. If you buy a drink to go, I mean, that seems to be the end thing. I mean, I've never done that, but that could be a compromise, just to change the deed restriction.
And I'll elaborate on that because I did quite a bit of research on this. As it stands now, Chipotle has multiple ways that they sell alcohol. They have a cantina sort of situation where they actually serve alcohol and you can sit there, which I am not in favor of, obviously. But they also have a way that you can purchase a beverage that is sealed and you take it off the premise. And they also have a way of selling like 6-packs of like margaritas and things like that. It's kind of like a grab and go that they have there. And we don't know at this point, obviously, which of those three that they are looking to do, because it's the seller that's asking for it, not necessarily Chipotle.
Do we know why this deed restriction was put in place initially?
Only
Because I mean,
spec-
there's a lot
Oh,
of
speculation.
Yeah.
population, and do any other businesses on Green Tree Road have such?
Well, that's good. That's true.
I mean, I'm just saying,
No,
Yeah,
the
that's-
property that was previously owned by Borough.
no,
Because there are multiple businesses on Green Tree Road that do sell alcohol.
that's why I'm saying, are we putting them at a disadvantage by restricting them versus the neighbor? And that's my question.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
not that I want a bar in the corner, but at the same time, I don't want us to look like we're punishing them because of their location.
It's my understanding there's no other deed restrictions in that area. If we did go to court, it's my understanding too, that we would have to show what the original intent was for that deed restriction and show that the original intent is still applicable. So we'll have to go back to 1994 show what the intent was in 1994, show that it's still applicable now. That's why I'm thinking of go for that compromise. No serving alcohol on the premises, but takeout.
I don't know if I'm hearing something wrong, if I remember something wrong. Were there other restaurants in the area that felt like it might be competition, or other businesses that felt like it might be competition? And does that even hold up, I guess, is another question. Because I'm thinking if I wanted to drink right now along with my Chipotle, I just go across the street to that. But I don't know if that's our business to be meddling in, I don't know.
We really don't know why, and I don't think we have the research yet to know why in 1994 was put in place.
Right.
We'd have to do the research.
I think we try to do the
You may be correct.
Yeah.
Unofficial.
But it would have been back then that would have happened. It wouldn't be something that would be a part of it now.
An amendment could also be difficult, just because I know there's a process that's set forth under Pennsylvania law where you can just voluntarily rescind a deed restriction, but amending it, I'm not sure what that process would look like. Mr. Mayor, have you looked into that at all?
I've not, but I would assume if you can remove it and amend it.
I might have to do a corrected deed at that point. There may be an avenue. I'm just not as familiar with that as.
And I make a motion that we table this till we have more information about what amendments could be made, because I feel like we're gonna make a decision without knowing all.
We're under a contract.
Are we under that first? We're not, we need to wait.
We have been, the council has been requested by the seller to deliberate on this, and ideally make a decision tonight. However, I've not spoken with the seller's attorney in a few weeks since notifying her that it would be addressed at tonight's meeting. I'm not sure the status of the current sale or what the intention of the parties is at this point. I can say I'm not sure how much more information we're going to be able to uncover. The deed restriction was placed in 1994. It may be difficult to find. I mean, almost every single document that wasn't minutes of a meeting probably have since been terminated by now. So I'm just not sure how much we're going to uncover.
So
I'm more concerned about like
The amendment.
the amendment concept, right? Like if we were gonna change it, is that even like, we wanna say that's an option, if it's not an option, then we make decisions and facts for one. So that's
My thought is that we can record a corrective deed. However, I don't know if the title company would be satisfied with it, but we're not a party to the transaction, so that's somewhat outside of the concern of council.
Yes.
So if we denied this, they would then probably appeal in the court.
They would have the option to petition the courts to have the deed restriction removed. I do not know earnestly whether or not that is their intention at this time.
And I think we hold if we have time.
I
I would second.
I'm comfortable with tabling.
I think that a little more information would be helpful,
Sure.
even just from their stance of where they lie on if we do or do not do this. We're going into litigation or anything like that, I don't think that's.
It might be helpful if they do a meeting.
Or, yeah,
Correct. And I did recommend that someone be present tonight.
And also try to get some information on what type
yeah, what
they're
is
trying
that?
to do. I mean, because I've been to this Chipotle, and with all due respect, they have a hard time sweeping. I don't know how they're gonna do certain alcohol.
Don't know very big, again, no, there's not enough room. It would probably take away, but it's nice to know if that's their intent.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything, any feedback from the residents? That it's far within the next few hundred feet?
Not that I'm aware.
No, or they would have been here tonight.
That's what I was thinking.
But do we get feedback? Like, if we
They would.
Or they would let us know.
So it sounds like we're moving in the direction of the table. Jake, what do we have to do to?
You just need a motion to table at this point.
I make a motion to table this.
I'll second that.
And with respect to the motion to table, I can reach out to the seller's attorney, try to acquire some more information. I can also look into if there's a process under Pennsylvania law with respect to amending a deed restriction. Like I said, I just assume you need a corrective deed, and it just turns out to come down to the closing company if they're okay with that.
Do we have a motion and a second? All in favor? Opposed? The motion passes.
All right, moving on, appointments to the planning commission, we did have interviews on January 21st. And it was the recommendation from the members of the member of the planning commission who was there, as well as the committee members, to appoint the following individuals. I move that we reappoint Jeffrey Natale to the planning commission for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2029.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Okay, all in favor? That motion passes.
I move that we reappoint Kathy Robinson Evans to the planning commission for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2029.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion. Second, any comments? All in favor?
I move that we reappoint Jessica Swish to the planning commission for a 4-year term to expire on December 31st, 2021.
We have a motion.
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor? All right, any comments? Yeah, all in favor? Aye. That motion passes. Thanks to Jeff, Jesse, and Jessica, the 3Js for their continued service on the planning commission. Mayor's right, they meet quite often, so we appreciate their dedication.
And to, just to the point, for those who, interviewed and did not get the positions, they were all very qualified. We just had to go, what was the best fit for the planning commission duties. So next is appointments to the zoning hearing board. I move that we appoint Rebecca Chambers to the zoning hearing board for a 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2028.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, any comments? All in favor?
I move that we reappoint Ashley Griffin to the zoning hearing board for a 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2026.
And I will second that.
Motion and a second, any comments? All in favor? Aye.
I just want to thank these individuals for stepping up and offering to serve in this community. We do not, take for granted that is a commitment that not many people are willing to do. And we greatly appreciate all the efforts that they have given and continue to give to the board.
And the 3 of them are here. Could they just stand?
Yes, could you please stand up if you're here?
Related to that, several years ago, we started a procedure where we're interviewing candidates that wish to serve on the committees. We include the council committee in those interviews, as well as the chair of either the planning commission, restoration commission, the recreation board, or the zoning hearing board. And moving forward, we continue that practice. I think it creates a level of fairness within the process and ensuring that we have the best qualified residents serving on our boards. So thank you for that.
Exactly, and my report.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Before we move on, so I think we should have a public discussion on the ordinance that prohibits signage from being on past 11 p.m. We have an ordinance, there's certain signs that are not allowed to be on past 11. There are signs that are allowed to be on past 11, and just want to ensure that we're enforcing that ordinance. Any particular signs or anything like that, just make sure that we're enforcing it. If we have to change the ordinance, then let's have a discussion about that. But I think we should talk about it because it is a topic of concern.
I think we've talked about the fact that we want to identify any signage that might be, so that we have a universal list of all of the signs that would qualify for that. And then also we're gonna do that feedback from those businesses to look at if there are any modifications we want to make to that ordinance, and see what we get. We could definitely do a measure process that is equal across the business community, so that we'll make sure that everyone is getting the information, and maybe a reminder to them of the ordinance that we just on.
Great. Any other comments on that?
No, and then wouldn't that also be her committee to talk about on-street parking? Or is that public safety?
That's public safety, yeah.
Okay,
That's
that's public safety.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we'll work with the code enforcement officer, and if the person did a plan of action with Jordan, of course, and if we need to change it, we'll take that into consideration. That might be something the planning commission,
Right,
if we need to change the ordinance, the planning commission will take a look
there's
at.
probably some technology updates that are not in our ordinance that we need to look into and shore that up. So, that was something to think about.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you. Ms. Schwartz, up next, Finance Administration, Mr. Allen.
Awesome. Okay, so we have not yet formally met for all of the information that we've kind of compiled today. I think it was today or yesterday, just received the budget kind of, it was a comparison budget, and I think I'm probably one of the only people, probably about 100 people in the world that loves the budget. And I can't wait to dig in and look at all the numbers and figure out how everything ticks. And, managing quite a few budgets myself in my professional life, I promise you that I'm gonna uncover and look at every single thing that we have in there. As it goes for administration, we are also going to be meeting about, of course, the employees and such in the borough. If you take a look at the newsletter that's coming out, I can't remember exactly when it comes out, but you'll see kind of a full comprehensive overview of what I plan to do in this position. And I promise to serve this position to the furthest extent that I can. Okay, so that's why my chair report, and now I believe I moved to ratify the actions of the borough manager in paying the January 2026 invoices from the general fund totaling $108,107.43. Capital projects fund totaling $58,125. Payroll account totaling $261,903.43. Education Service Agency Fund totaling $3,686.24, and the credit card for November 2025 totaling $5,681.24.
Motion, do I have a second?
Okay.
Second, comments? All in favor? Aye.
Okay, and I move to approve the payment of the February 2026 invoices from the general fund totaling $245,727.14. The storm sewer fund totaling $6,643.98. Sanitary sewer fund totaling $553,767.16, and capital projects funds totaling $20,367.32, and fire department apparatus fund totaling $53,630.71.
Good motion, how about a second?
Second.
Second, comments? Okay. All in favor? Aye, opposed? That motion passes.
Okay, and I'm really excited to appoint some people to the library board. I have motion to, I move that we reappoint Ed Giles to the library board for a second term, or 2-year term, excuse me, to expire on January 31st of 2028, as recommended by the library board's letter dated January 22nd, 2026.
Good motion, how about a second? Comments? All in favor?
Okay, I move that we appoint Jennifer Houtz to the library board for a 2-year term to expire on January 31st, 2028, as again recommended by the library board's letter dated January 22nd, 2026.
We have a second.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor? Opposed? That motion passes.
Okay, and I move that we appoint Katie Hudson to the library board for a second term to expire on January 31st, 2028, as again recommended by the library board's letter dated January 22nd, 2026.
We have a second.
Second.
Comments? All in favor? Opposed? That motion passes. Christopher, I think we also need a library board liaison.
Okay.
That's a member of council that reports back to the library board. Okay. So it'd be one of us who will be that liaison.
I do it, I mean,
Okay,
I work
perfect.
in the library.
Fantastic, then you're hired.
So do I have a motion to appoint Ms. Schwartz to the library, to be the library board liaison?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Great. Okay,
Then that's the end of our report.
thank you, Mr. Fallon. Up next, public safety discuss.
I have my report from our meeting that we had together, but I wanted to make one comment. After I was interviewed for this position, my husband said, "You didn't tell anybody that the reason you haven't lived in Green Tree is because we moved away from Pittsburgh for the military." And my husband has served many years. So I was really, really excited when I was asked to serve on public safety. We have many family members that are first responders, and I've been a military wife and a military mom as well. My son is also in the Air Force. So I'm just really, really excited. And this police force is incredible. So I'm just, yeah, I was tickled. Dave messaged me and said, "Would you be interested?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I feel really, really honored to be in this spot. The Public Safety Committee, met on Wednesday, January 21st at 8:30 PM for a planning and 2026 goal setting discussion. And, we settled on 6 goals. There are other things, but I've tried to sum them up in 6 goals. And our goals for 2026 is to continue taking steps to address the traffic calming needs in the borough, to explore potential solutions and next steps to address or mitigate the challenges with the deer population. Their residents here too, apparently. Explore options for the chief of police vacancy. Number 4, hear and communicate concerns around the 376 Green Tree exit project with PennDOT and explore options to mitigate future potential effects of the project. Number 5, hear and address any public safety needs that arise in the community during the year, some of which are here in motion today. And number 6, coordinate with the mayor and the police department as Mr. Mayor shared extensively about this option. We're working with the police department to look at this, and we're very excited about this option and the resources that are available. Acting Chief Brannigan has been helping us explore this resource through a nonprofit called Resources for Human Development that is funded by the Allegheny County and Human Services. They could make some services available to us at, this is the bonus, no cost to the borough. So we can get human services support to our officers at no cost to the borough. So we plan to discuss this at our next public safety meeting, which brings me to my final point. Our public safety committee meetings will be every month on the 4th Monday of each month at 7 PM. And we welcome all residents to join us. And that's all I have for my report.
Great.
I guess we should move on. I move that we reappoint W. David Mons to MRTSA Mertza Board for a 5-year term to expire on December 31st, 2030. And I guess I'll need a second.
I will second that.
I understand that there was the option for other people to apply for this position. He was the only one that applied, so there were no interviews held because he was the only one and it was a reappointment. So.
Good, we have a motion, we have a second.
I did the second.
No, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the motion passes.
Okay, secondly, I move that we authorize the borough solicitor to draft an ordinance amending chapter 325 vehicles and traffic of the borough of Green Tree Code of Ordinances to permit overnight parking along Rhodes Avenue.
We have a motion, second.
Second.
We have second comments.
That would be on Rhodes Avenue, only on the Wilson side, Wilson Park side.
Yeah, and I spoke with Dave, who who were public safety last year, did that last year, and so I got a bit of an update, and then I also talked with the mayor about his thoughts on it, and as well Chief Brannigan, and he had some pretty, he gave me some really concrete, like clear, this is why I am not recommending that this motion pass, and he mentioned some, just equality issues of who's gonna use the parking spots, and just lots, it's very complicated, and, he's also just concerned that we make sure we're doing things fairly. So without going into too much detail, we had an extensive conversation. So that being said, I'm not in favor.
Well, yeah, so he, acting chief Brannigan also, in a meeting last year,
Yeah.
came up and voiced his concern with, allowing this. he's not in favor with it, cited. In addition to, the silvery slope, he also where, there's also traffic safety concerns.
Yeah, there's definitely traffic safety concerns, and then he also, when talk about equity, it's like, if we allow this one, then what do we do with other places that might want to have spots?
I'm also concerned about the proximity of that street to the Parkway ramps.
Yeah.
That if that is the only place you can park without any restrictions, that we may have people using that as a place to sleep, stop, hold their truck, like. It opens up another level for the police of policing that's gonna have that whole section of road. And it's next to a park.
Right.
Where kids play, and we have soccer in the mornings on Saturdays and Sundays, and there's a lot of, I want to help the residents, but there's a lot of question marks. Yes.
Yes, I would like to make a statement that, over the years, councils, not just this council, but many councils, they've always restricted on-street parking. They've had many reasons. It provides a better quality of life, it provides safety, because in the middle of the night, you don't have cars parked on the streets. It makes things much safer. And it was not just the wish of this council, but many, many councils. And that is why they believe on-street parking is not suitable for the borough of Green Tree. I liken it to councils also, they do not want front yard fences. They restrict something like that. So in talking with the chief and in looking at what past councils wanted, I would be opposed to on-street parking.
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Aye. Abstain? That motion fails. We also discussed that we need to appoint police pension committee member of the council.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Mr. Ray as the council president. As a council representative for the police pension.
Great, we have motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Panzo. Yeah, or Ms. Gasky.
Just one thing to add, we did have a part-time, lady in the police department. She worked 4 hours, but she retired effective immediately. So Denise retired, so we'll be advertising very shortly for a part-time position for, a police secretary for 4 hours. So if you know anybody, let us know. We've had people that lived in the borough before through this, and we've had people live outside. Thank you.
And then the last thing on the agenda here, the public works and infrastructure.
You want me to?
This, yeah, of course, you don't.
Last week,
Yeah.
about a week ago, I just kind of went over the ongoing projects to get Tina up to speed and kind of know what we're handling. I'm sure we'll be able to work forward, with the list that we have, just keeping an eye on things. So Whiskey Run Stream Restoration Contract Award. I do believe that this, came in a lot lower than we were expecting, so that was great. Motion, I move that we award the Whiskey Run Stream Restoration Contract to Meadville Land Services, Inc. in the amount of $589,929 in accordance with the Borough Engineers Correspondence dated January 23, 2026.
Awesome.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments?
So this basically is, in Whiskey Run Stream, they basically are gonna take all the vegetation away and then put new vegetation back. And it's only for $589,000.
But it was originally estimated to be like 900,000, so it's actually less than we were budgeting.
And when asked, what will this do? They can only tell us in theory, it should make it better.
But this is something that we have to
We
do.
don't have.
Yeah, we don't have a choice.
No,
Yeah.
no, I know, it's just,
Not our decision.
Yeah,
I don't know, but in all reality, what if we like, got a bigger sewage pipe rather than take the weeds away from the creek?
And there was a representative here that kind of explained that. I mean, I wasn't on council yet, but I was. here.
No, I know.
And I mean, it's not obviously great that we have to spend that money, but I guess we just have to trust that what they're doing is going to better.
And I believe we got some grant funding
Yeah.
for this project, so it's not like it's.
Is it, so it's supposedly required?
Correct.
It is.
Jake, what would happen if we didn't do it?
We'll find.
We lose our ability for grant funding.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
It's a bad thing.
yeah.
I would agree, my recommendation would not be to not move forward with it.
Do we know how much the grant is for though?
I think the grant was substantially higher than what this, it's supposed to be more than that.
Way more than, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
By a grant.
Yeah.
It's such an unbelievable thing that we have to do.
It is.
Mr. Pans is right. We are pulling vegetation out of the creek and replanting vegetation.
Yeah.
It's gonna be consumed by the vegetation that was previously in there when it.
They're also gonna pull on.
$589,000.
And is this part of your MS4?
Yeah.
This is for the MS4, we don't really have a choice.
Where if you took the 600,000 and
We
say
can't
you,
use grant money.
but
Yeah.
if you improve the storm system. The storm water system along Green Tree Road, you prevent flooding, you help out the environment that way rather than. Change the weeds.
Correct, but if we don't do this, we can't apply for grants to pay for that, so that's kind of.
I think we can all agree that if we were able to use the money in a different way, that we could. fix those things.
Well,
We
see,
don't
we're
have
not
to-
sure
No, we're
though.
not sure.
That's
Yeah.
where the point is.
Yeah.
We were told by the engineering
Yeah.
firm that this would be a good idea for a project because they had to come up with the project. But we honestly were never given an option, well, or you could, make, asphalt parking lot
Whatever that
permeable,
is.
permeable. Instead, it'd still get the same amount of credit, so.
The engineer would have to be consulted though to confirm that an alternative project could be used for MS4 credit. There's only certain projects that are eligible.
True.
To be undertaken by a municipality. If your engineer is opining that this project will satisfy MS4 requirements, my recommendation would be that you move forward with it.
Well, and
It's something that's required by the state.
I believe that the grant funding is restricted to this project.
It likely
You are
is.
throwing the grant funding, you couldn't just re out.
It's so troublesome that he said, because I asked him,
I remember, yeah.
he said, in theory, it should work.
Yeah.
Just,
Talk to the state.
So here's the question, if you're saying this has to be decided now, because otherwise we lose this bid, I'm guessing, like we don't take.
It's already.
It's already
out
done,
to
yeah.
bid. The grant is already secured,
Yeah.
the process, this is just to get the work done.
So we're just finding.
That would be correct.
But we have to do it.
They better give us really nice new weeds.
Right? And it's at least a couple of times.
Well, we're gonna take photos of it, once it's all grown and use it and be like that.
Steve, what do you think we should do?
Asked if there's any alternative before we get stuck in.
I don't think we have that,
In like 2 weeks.
no.
the grant is paying for it, so the borough has 2 grants for the scope of work. The LCA grant was awarded to the amount of $1 million. Currently, the borough is drawn down $350,000, leaving a balance of $649,000. WRPP grant was awarded the amount of $275,000. Based on the bid submitted, we suggest award based on contract. Well, that's a little better amount. So.
Fully covered by the grant.
It appears it's fully covered by the grant funding.
Yeah.
It would be silly with all comply and we can work, we can fight for the next one. So we have another round started, right? The next stage of the.
I should say the range of the bids was from 589,000 up to 2 bids over $1 million.
At this stage, we have to move forward.
Yeah, solicitor is suggesting we move forward, the engineers suggesting we move forward, it's just tough, small, in theory, it's supposed to work.
Yeah. If there's any consolation, I can assure you, you are not the only borough that feels this way.
I understand, it's just, you know, to bring new council up to speed, and we were on the cutting edge. Green Tree has always been upfront with this, project. And we spent millions of dollars making sure that our sewage and water is separated until it hits the city of Pittsburgh, and then it all goes back together. Which I always find that to be just amazing, that we spent millions of dollars, everything separate till it hits the city and it goes all back into one. That's like having a recycle bin and a garbage bin, and the garbage truck comes and throws it all in the same garbage bin. But
I got news.
yeah, okay. Well, I will feel better and sleep better tonight if I can vote no. Okay.
Oh, so we have a motion and.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
But this abstain, that's. Okay, that motion passes. President's report, so I, spoke earlier about committees, my only update, in terms of the vacancy council. And Jake, I might put you here, if you could help us understand the commitment of the new appointment and the time frame, and some of the discrepancies that you found between our charter and the borough code.
Sure, as written in the borough, so to take it a step back, the borough is a home rule municipality, which means that it is governed by a charter. Non-home rule municipalities are governed by state codes. For instance, it would be the borough code here. The borough charter provides that whomever is appointed to fill a council vacancy serves for the remainder of the term. State law, however, says that depending on the timing of the vacancy, you either go for the remainder of the term or until the next general election. With respect to the most recent vacancy, Ms. Barron was re-elected in November, which means that there's approximately 4 years left on her term. Under the charter, her replacement would presumably serve for those 4 years. Under the borough code, however, the appointee would only serve until the next general election. At the next general election, which would be in November 2027, that seat would appear on the general ballot and somebody could actually seek election for it and serve the remaining 2 years of the term. My office has looked into this issue because there are certain areas of law in which a home rule charter cannot amend, one of which is the conduct of elections. So I provided an opinion to council, which says that I believe that Ms. Barron's replacement should only serve for 2 years because state law trumps, in this instance, the borough charter.
Thanks for that explanation. I agree with it. I think, if it were to me, we would change the charter and have special elections. When there are, when the vacancy does come up, it should be up to the voters, not us. So, thanks, Jake, for that explanation. So the new appointment to that vacancy will serve 2 years. And then it has the option then to the campaign.
but that would be a special 2-year term.
Correct.
That would be.
Correct. So Ms. Barron's, to be extra technical, Ms. Barron's, whomever is appointed as her replacement, will serve until the first Monday in January of 2028, as that is the first Monday in January that follows the general election. So it will be advertised as such.
Thank you. So that's the end of my report. Let's jump to public comment. So this is the opportunity where you can make any statement related to any borough related.
Christine Schwartz at 251 Park Edge. Jacob, you may be able to answer this regarding the deed over here at Chipotle. Ron, you might be able to too. Is the reason there, I know because it used to be borough property, But the reason being is, this used to be a school. But now we have a library. So I don't know if that. If the library. If that alcohol is going to be a problem because of our library. I mean, there's kids. I don't know if, like, I know there's a deed there. Like somebody, I mean, Dave Mott should know. Mr. Mott should know, Ron, I mean, we still have some. I don't wanna say old, but we still have some previous. Council members that still live in this borough, but I'm just wondering. That deed is if it's not because of our library.
I would have to look in the zoning ordinance to see if there's any requirements with respect to bars and restaurants and the proximity to certain. Call it sensitive uses.
Just say, cause I mean, as far as libraries go,
But we also have 3 residence houses too.
right,
that I
like
think
Dormont
they're-
Library has a bar running across the street, so I mean, it just depends on what ours is.
Well, plus Fairline and Sunshine's.
Yeah, they're right across the street.
Yeah, but that, it could be proximity.
That is true.
You've been 44 years ago. I did research and I was a law clerk and they did liquor control law. But I think you'd have to look at the liquor law. Under the liquor law, LCB, they make regulations how far somebody, like schools have to be so far from a space where you give a liquor license. So that's a good thought. We can look under liquor control, but I think it's only churches and schools. My memories go back 44 years. I don't know if a library would qualify.
But I also know there was restrictions on that corner lot because of these 3 houses here. Many years ago, there was a restriction that borough council, previous borough council, not this. Ron might, but not you guys. That there was a restriction of what could go in that spot. Thank you.
I'll look into it.
Just to answer your question, I can only speculate as to what I was told, but it's only like, I can't,
Hi, Lisa Shea, 8 Elmhurst Road. First, I wanted to thank all of you. I know this is a volunteer assignment and that you advise in jobs and families, and that this is in addition to that. And I know the work that you put into this, so thank you. Thank you for your service, so to speak. I really do like what I hear tonight, and I like what I see before me. I think we finally have a council here that's going to work together and be transparent and be professional and work together in harmony and work together, not against each other, like we have seen with previous councils. Or should I say the previous council? Like the mayor, I am also a big fan of presidential historian Doris Kearns Goodwin. And I also agree that when you are in government or in a position to assign people to councils or committees or whatnot, that you want to be surrounding yourself with people who tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. And I like the fact that Mr. Ray is now the council president because I believe that he's going to ensure that the council treats each other with the kindness, the respect, and the professionalism that you should always treat each other with. You're not always going to get along, and when that happens, that's when your character comes to light. It's easy whenever the marriage is always great if everything's going well, but whenever you have problems, that's it. That's the relationship and of one's character. So I see before me a council that gives me hope and promise about the future. And I'd like to add to what I'm sorry, what is your name?
Chris.
Chris. I'd like to add to what Chris said. There's a reason why there's a vacancy there. And I'd like to see that seat filled. Now I know Cara Martorella, she had, I think, the next highest votes, and I think she would be an excellent candidate to fill that seat, but I know you're going to be interviewing. But I think if you're a council member, it's important to check your ego at the door. And it's about serving the community and what's best for Green Tree and how to spend taxpayer dollars in a wise way. And in the past, I've come to council meetings and I've only seen Dave Ray ask the right questions, fight for what is right, fight to save taxpayer dollars. And the previous council would fight him on what I thought was logical and sound. And I think the reason why there's a vacancy has to do with ego, and the fact that that ego is now removed is a good thing. Let's replace that empty seat with somebody who cares about everything other than themselves and their position. I think handing the presidency over to you, Mr. Ray, was a hard pill for Ms. Shanberry to swallow. I think losing the pool project the way it stood was a hard pill for her to swallow. So if she doesn't like the current council as it stands and wants to place blame on the current council and not herself and her ego not being strong enough to handle the fact that she lost her presidency and she lost it to her adversary, and she can take her Tonka trucks and go home. Let's keep that seat open for somebody who deserves it. Now, regarding the pool project, I like the fact that you're going to have the community involved in the input. The previous pool project didn't make any sense to me. A private VIP lounge area, this isn't the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. This is charming little Green Tree pool. Let's fix what's broken, make some modifications, and be done with it. Let's shape the etch a sketch on this whole project. Let's save some taxpayer dollars, get the community involved, especially the people that use the pool. Not everybody in Green Tree uses the pool, but let's all work together on a sound pool project and design that makes sense. And I guess that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
I just wanted to add, there will be, in the future, there will be no talk about the swimming pool without full public participation. So.
David Lawrencini, 1138 Green Tree Road. I also am happy that you tabled the proposal for the liquor Chipotle for the owners. Happy you did that. Also, I'd like to mention that if the seller was really requesting something of Green Tree, maybe the borough manager can have a representative of the seller come and ask you. Also, as Ms. Short mentioned, there are people in the community that were here back in '94, sitting in those seats that should have some history. The old solicitor might even have information, if you have a way of contact. Second point I'd like to make is, I was around here in Green Tree 1976. Sorry. 200 anniversary. For the 200th anniversary, and don't know what we can do, citizens, what ideas you might have. I remember painting fire hydrants ourselves. I remember the water tower getting painted. But if there's any way that we can, I know you'll be asking for a lot of people donating time, possibly businesses donating money. I'd like to have any suggestions that you might have for that, put out publicly to be able to do. I believe last year at some point I asked Ms. Short to ask the previous council. We have beautiful signs. We're honoring the veterans along the roads, Green Tree Road. A lot of them are getting shabby. I don't know if that's something council does or is interested to do, or need some donations to bring those around for a better 250th anniversary celebration. But any ideas, please. I know some of you have my number. Let me know. Be happy to help in any way that we can.
I met with the director of rec, and I can tell you that there are some incredible things that they are working on. Nothing that's obviously ready to be released yet, but they are working very, very hard.
Just like anything else, if sometimes you can't donate time, maybe you can donate money. Some people can do both, one or the other. Please let me know.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Mr. Lawrenzini, can you tell us, what did we do in 1976?
We won the Revolutionary War, I think, for our freedom.
Yeah, no,
After that, I'd have to read more history
do
books.
you remember if we had like a parade or anything or?
Unfortunately, in the summer of 1976, I was not here. I was here being I was on vacation with my family, and we missed the actual celebration somewhere else. But I remember that we got that in the baseball teams, the baseball teams had certain things going on, before the celebration was coming up in the summer. So I remember that, the parks decorated, as I said, I remember painting fire hydrants, so. Anyway, I know you probably have much better suggestions. Thank you, thank you.
Jesse Robinson, Evans, 24 Leon Road. Again, thank you for reappointing me to planning commission. It's an honor. I'm flattered to continue to serve it in the unique way that the planning commission presents. Regarding planning commission's involvement in the pool, as a body, planning commission makes recommendations to council. It's not our place to interject into council's business. In the absence of a request to look into the pool from the previous council, it's zoned for recreation. It's a pool now. If you guys wanted to make it a pool later, so be it. Municipal planning code does state that planning commissions often do get involved in capital projects. That's fine. I just wanted to state that it wasn't necessarily our lack of willingness to help. It was a lack of being asked to help with the pool. By trade, I'm a construction estimator. I've bid on pools before. They're expensive, and I just want to highlight the continued delay of building the pool is only going to increase costs. Building a bigger pool will increase costs. There's many people who are vocal about wanting a pool of a certain size or having certain features. But there's a lot more people that just pay taxes and I just want to make sure that anybody who is advocating for a bigger, more expensive pool will also be here advocating for higher taxes to fund that pool. I think what was voted on 6-1 in 2024 was an in-kind replacement of the existing pool. Current pool serves our needs as a community. It's big enough, people have room. I think generally speaking, people like having a pool. If we want to turn it into a rec center, planning commission can investigate that. However, it's unfair to everybody to only look at the benefits of a big pool and not look at the costs. I know the bids were received and had to be rejected due to a clerical error. As unfortunate as that is planning commission able to see and assess these bid amounts? And has anybody looked at the amount of money set aside for the pool versus the bids that were received?
Well, the bids also came in over budget. Yeah. They weren't just, it wasn't just the technical reason, it was also over projected.
And the design that was bid was same size and shape as the current pool with some ADA modifications for code compliance.
Smaller.
It was
Smaller.
the final.
By like
not that much.
minutia. It's like 550 versus 520 occupants. I mean, we're not talking like massively small.
Well, one thing we didn't look at was refurbishing our existing pool, saving millions of dollars. So Baldwin Borough did that, they're in the same boat. They received their bids for a new pool, they came in for the budget, they pivoted and are refurbishing their existing pool with zero entry to save, I think, $2 million. So
This is a difficult reality of construction. I just hope that the geotechnical aspect, soil underneath the pool, allows for an easy refurbishment. Thank you.
any other comments? Yes.
Alto R. Cavati, 143 Sheldon Avenue, Pittsburgh, 15220. I neglected to give my name, I believe, when I spoke earlier. The change in the comment period sort of threw me off. I apologize for that. So I wanted to correct that. First of all, I would like to thank the Borough Public Works for the great snow removal on January 25th, 2026. Thanks also to the fire department for shoveling around the fire hydrants, which I personally observed. I have always believed that the snow removal was one of the best reasons to live in Green Tree. And that's not a joke if you tried to travel to surrounding communities. Also, I need to note that despite the great snow removal, the post office suspended mail delivery, to my knowledge, to Green Tree. If your mail, if you have not started to resume receiving your mail, if it's not been restored, the service, you can go to the post office with your identification and ask for your mail. I spoke to a representative in the Pittsburgh area post office, consumer affairs office, to file a complaint regarding this situation. I understand that there was snow, few days of service interruption maybe was expected, but with our excellent clearing the roads here in Green Tree, I don't think that was appropriate. I've been informed that the mail service should be restored back to normal by February 9th. So that was that comment. One more moment here, excuse me. I have these things out of order here. Let's see, oh yes. I watched and listened to the two January 5th, 2026 council meetings via Zoom. The audio was very difficult to hear. I did use closed captioning, which helped somewhat. I know improved audio and visual system improvements, have been discussed, and I think they are needed. In the meantime, I noticed while watching the Zoom video that council members who spoke more directly into the microphones were easier to hear. One more comment regarding tonight's meeting. The manager's report, is there any manager report for this evening?
There's no manager's report tonight.
Thank you.
Nicholas Gallows, 322 Forest Drive. Just to piggyback on the audio visual stuff, I'm very interested in being as a part of the engagement team. Whenever those meetings come up, please let me know. I've been coming to meetings since September of 2024. I can't believe this much time has passed. But I am still interested. I am still here to give some feedback on some things. I have the audio technical background. I work in radio. I used to work for another municipality, and I'm familiar with how governments and councils work on these things. So please let me know when these meetings are, and I'd be happy to assess this situation of this room as a start.
If I have your contact information, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
And I guess I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Oh,
Another executive session.
yeah, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.